Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review on 90 Day Fiance, Season 6, Episode 9, Backed in the Corner. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, everybody needs a sweet old auntie, right? Having one, it just would be nice. Cause everybody needs a sweet old auntie, right? So welcome to Auntie's Advice. Thank you so much for joining the family. And to all of my nieces and nephews who've been here with me for the long haul, thank you so much for your continued support. Tonight YouTube is having problems, and so we're going to try to get through this, y'all. If I freeze up on that screen, I'm not stopping, because ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. You got it. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. Tonight I have brought out the big guns. All right. I have my Kettle One cucumber mix mixed with a little bit of pineapple juice and some grenadine. Okay. Because your auntie for these mofos is going freestyle tonight. All right. I'm not using notes. I'm not using anything. I'm just going straight freestyle. And I need my little Kettle One cucumber mint drink to help a sister out. Okay. So y'all pray for your auntie that she ain't drunk by the time we finish this. Okay. Okay. We're going to be cheersing to all things Stephen that lost his mofo mind. Okay. All things Fernanda, go ahead on home, boo. Do what you gotta do. All things for I need you all to compliment me. Compliment me. I spent every bit of 15 minutes getting my face together today, and I need you to compliment me. Okay? Cheers to all that book. Okay? Clink, 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 clink. Okay? Clink, 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 clink. Clink, 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 clink. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, we're going to go ahead on and start off. If I had to rate this particular episode, I would rate this episode a B. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Because Kalani is trying to blame somebody else for making her have sex with someone without a condom and getting pregnant. Okay? So the first the first couple we're going to talk about is Jonathan and that damn Fernanda. Okay, so basically Jonathan is trying to live his best life. He got his woman here and everything, and he's happy and everything, but he's still dealing with some issues. So as we do, he goes to talk to his homeboy. He takes off work and he gets off and he goes and spends 45 minutes, okay, doing what he do, basically talking to his friend. And so Fernanda's got a problem with it. She's got a little issue with it. And so she's sitting, John is sitting at the table, and, basically he's trying to talk to his friend. They catching up. He needs some advice about his mother and about, things in the relationship. His friend is drilling him basically and saying, maybe she's too young. He tells him about the incident that happened in South Carolina when they was at Myrtle Beach and everything. And he's giving him advice. And at the same time, his mofo phone blowing up. Now, I don't know if y'all are anything like me or if I'm anything like John or whatever, but I absolutely could relate. Look, I'm out, I'm on the town, and I feel like I need to just have some wind down time. I need some auntie time. Y'all understand? And so basically he's taking advantage of that. He's talking to his friend and she's blowing his phone up. Now, I would have put her on the pause too, because at this point, I'm doing what I do. I'm grown, I'm hot, I'm sexy, and I don't sit, I want to sit here and talk to my friend. She's blowing, he's like, is that Fernanda? He's like, yeah, that's her. God dang, needy bitch. And that's how I would have felt about it. Give me some time by myself. I'm going to work. I'm coming home every day. I'm being with you. One day out the week, I make a decision that I'm going to go and sit down with my homeboy for 45 minutes and you blowing my phone up. Unacceptable. I would have turned the ringer off. Matter of fact, I would have turned the whole entire phone off. Don't blow me up. Let me get me some me time, some time that I need to, process things that are going on in my head. I mean, this is a lot, and I'm really, trying to process this, building this relationship with my family and everything that happened. Stay off my damn phone. Stop blowing my phone up. If you don't hear from me the first time and I don't say anything to you, leave me alone. I'll get with you. You got me for the long haul. You got me forever and never. Amen. Stop blowing my damn phone up. So basically, he gets home and now he got to hear her mouth. That, she's mad. He comes home the next day and she's like, I'm mad about what happened yesterday. And he's like, what? What are you mad about? And she's like, that you put me on hold. I needed you. Plants need water. Trees need water. But damn, if it rains every day, soak up what you could get when you're getting it, okay? When it's raining outside, soak it up. Let your roots soak it up. But don't come and keep blowing my phone up like that. And Jonathan says, when I was in Mexico with you, you was partying. You wasn't calling me back. I took care of this. I took care of that. I've done everything for you, Fernanda. And one time I don't pick up the phone and I go and spend 45 minutes with my homeboy. Now you mad. Can we do a clink, clink, clink to needy? Clink, clink, clink. I dare you, needy. That's too much. That's too much. Nobody deserves to be under lock and key like that. And I understand some of you all may be saying, but auntie, my ass. Okay? No, that's unacceptable behavior. You didn't even want anything. Look, wasn't like the house was on fire or anything like that. And here it is where he throws back in your face, that I've been there and I've spent this time and I've spent this money. I've given you everything you want. Now you mad and you want to go home. Go home, Fernanda. Go home. It's as simple as that. You're a grown-ass sexy woman. Go home. Go home. I don't understand why these people find themselves in these kind of situations. I really don't. And I just would not tolerate this. 90 days? 90 days? See, the thing about it, you're going to forgive them. And you're going to forget it. And all those threats, they never go away. You may process past them, but they never go away. And people remember how you made them feel. And Jonathan, no matter how long y'all stay married, is going to always remember that you was ready to throw in the towel. Fernanda, if you need to go back home, go back home. Then she sits on the phone with her father and drags him for filth. That big mistake. If you know that you're going to stay with this person and there's a likelihood that y'all going to stay together, don't tell your family about what's going on. They don't need to know. Now the father is going to prejudge him based upon what you said in the past about him. You may lay in the bed and you may forgive him, but your family won't. They going to always continue to regurgitate that over and over every time Jonathan does something. Shut the up and go back home, Fernanda. If you don't like it, go back home. The next couple that I want to talk about is our girl, Kalani and Atuelu. Basically, Kalani, we see this little black print, the print coming up on the screen, the white print. They just got, found out something. And so basically, we see her going to the doctors, it almost looks like it's something wrong with baby Oliver. But then come to find out she's 5 weeks pregnant. You're not the first person who, okay, let me unpack this. So basically, she's walking through, the doctor's thing. And like I said, it looks like it's something wrong with baby Oliver. They go to the doctor. She gets a sonogram done. And she has a baby. She is 5 weeks. Kalani is 5 weeks pregnant. Basically, Kalani says that Asuelu, is the type of man who doesn't want to use a condom when having sex with her. She indicates that she's on birth control pills. So that she's breastfeeding. So there's not a lot of contraceptives that she could use. And I'm saying, girl, the biggest contraceptive that you can use is the power of saying no. If this mofo think that condoms are for slut people and he doesn't want to strap up, then guess what? He won't get up. He won't get up! We're in trouble. I've never had to do this, but I gotta do this. I gotta plug up. Don't blame it on the alcohol, Auntie. Or we're gonna have a blackout up on this mofo. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so anyway, I'm back. So basically, Kalani, I'm gonna have to cut that out. So basically, Kalani, is saying that, she, don't have no she couldn't use contraceptives. I'm calling BS on the game. The thing about it, as a woman, you have to take responsibility for your own body. You have to take responsibility for your own destiny. Anything that happens to you, you have to take responsibility for it. The first thing that you have to do as a woman is protect your body. And so you laying up in the bed with this man who says that he doesn't want to strap up and put anything on because the condoms are for slut people. Well, he wouldn't have gotten anything from me. We would not have laid down together. We wouldn't have had sex together. I would have stood my ground. I don't want to have a baby. And this is something that we can use. And I know that there are other things that she could have used that would not have affected the baby's milk supply. Come on, Kalani, with the bull crap. This girl, to me, does not want to take responsibility for anything that has happened in her life. She says that, so she's blaming him. He's happy because he's like, where I'm from, we have big families, and so I'm happy about it. But she's mad about it. The main thing that to me that she's mad about is disappointing her family. Because number one, you said that you were a Mormon, okay? Number two, you went over on vacation and you came back with a baby, all right? Number three, you wasn't married before you had this baby. Number four, you brought this man over here, okay? Ass out, okay, wearing the skirt and the kilt and dancing in the airport and acting like he's on the little slow bus. These things have already disappointed your family. Okay, and then you lied on top of all of that. And now here it is that you're pregnant and you're blaming Asuelu for you being pregnant, saying that he should have known that I didn't want a baby. How the hell he doesn't know you? How does he know that? That's your responsibility as a woman. And I'm not trying to dog women out, and I'm not trying to be against women. I'm an advocate for women, and I'm an advocate, but I'm more of an advocate for what is right and what makes sense. And to me, that doesn't make sense that you would blame Asuelu for what you are having, for what's happening in your life. Bitch, you did not protect yourself. If you have sex and you have sex and it's unprotected, then okay, that equals a baby. All day long, 24 hours a day, unless you have a problem with getting pregnant. And you don't seem to have that problem, and neither does Asuelu. So now she goes, and basically sits down with her mother, and she doesn't even have the tenacity, the boldness to tell her mother herself. She has Asuelu sit at the table and drop this bomb on her mother. Then she tells Asuelu, you take the baby and you go back to the house so I can talk with my mother. You mean Asuelu, you let Asuelu take your child away? You mean to tell me you trust Asuelu now with the baby? And every time we see them going somewhere, he's holding baby Oliver, her baby, okay? As she say, my baby. And so now you can trust Asuelu when you need Asuelu. And then she sits there with her mother and says, I'm telling my mother because she always supports me. No, your mother doesn't tell you the truth about the matter. But what you cannot do as a woman is you cannot sit there and blame a man for the situation that you are in when you're a grown-ass woman who can protect yourself from having a baby. There are other methods that you can use. Now, I don't know if you're going to try to throw out the Mormon card, or I don't know what you're going to try to use as an excuse for not using other means of not getting pregnant. But this right here is not working for me. Asuelu says she's mad because, she has a baby in her, and she's mad because I'm happy. And then the mother sits there and listen to the BS that Kalani is giving her and says, didn't he know? Did he know that you wasn't ready for a baby? No, he didn't, because you let him. You had sex with him unprotected. You try to make it seem like it was about him. This is about you. This is about you. There's no way in the world that if I auntie at 53 years old show up pregnant because I'm having unprotected sex, that I'm going to come out here and tell y'all that some mofo made me do it. The devil made me do it. The D made me do it. Damn it, I did it. Okay, so evidently I wasn't weighing out all the pros and the cons about it and the consequences of having unprotected sex. Okay, and not only can you have a problem with getting pregnant, there are other things that can come with that. And you're gonna sit up here and blame this mofo for it? And then you're going to sit there and cry and say, I think that he was trying to do this because he was trying to guarantee that I was going to stay with him. Why does two babies guarantee marriage? Oswaldo's not thinking about that. He's not getting you pregnant because he wants to say, he wants to trap your ass in a closet. Are you crazy? That doesn't even make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, especially when you are the woman who needs to take responsibility for your own destiny. It doesn't make sense. I'm planning a wedding. Postpone the wedding. Go to the justice of the peace. I'm going to be taking time away from my other baby. Spend your best life with your baby while you got him by yourself. Do what you got to do as a woman. But you cannot sit there and blame a man when you a grown-ass, rusty-tailed woman. It is your responsibility, Kalani, at the end of the day, and I'm not buying the bull crap. I don't know why your mother fed into that. Then we see Asuelu sitting there with her and basically asking her or begging her, are you going to marry me? Yes, she's going to marry you. Not because she's pregnant, not because she feels trapped, but because she spent all of this money and she invested in you coming over here. And she wants to be a married woman, okay? She doesn't want to sit back and wait on anybody else. Asuelu, she wants you. And all this bullcrap that she has been talking week after week after week about not knowing whether or not she wants to marry him or not is a bunch of BS. And we all know it. She wanted him from day 8 when she flew his ass over here. She found out allegedly, before he even came over here, that he was cheating on her. She already knew all of this. She had already confronted the woman on Facebook about it. So don't sit there and act like, this is just some mystery and get the fuck out of here. I'm done with Kalani. Like, I'm seriously done with Kalani. It's ridiculous the way that this is playing out on the screen, and this girl is trying to act like she is a victim of Asuelu. Asuelu is slow as fuck, and ain't nobody gonna tell me that that mofo ain't slow, okay? Something is not right with Asuelu. I don't know what level of education he has, but he is not wrapped tight. Okay, the next couple we're going to talk about is Ashley and Jay. Ashley and Jay are sitting in the house perpetrating a fraud, okay? Because we have already seen pictures that have indicated that these mofos had a big-ass wedding. And guess who was in the picture of the big-ass wedding? It was Natalie. Natalie was in the picture of the big-ass wedding, okay? So this little innocent Ashley game, I'm tired of it. Tomorrow, we are having a special guest interview tomorrow, and I'm telling y'all, y'all better put your seatbelts on. You better make sure your notification bells are ready, because I'm telling you, tomorrow, we are having the interview of a lifetime up on this mofo tomorrow. I'm telling y'all, be ready. I ain't telling y'all today who it is, but I'm telling you, tomorrow, we got a piping hot interview coming up at 8:30 p.m. Yes, mofos, we will be interviewing a mofo up on here, and you're not going to want to miss it. But anyway, I digress. So we see her coming to the door. And, basically, somebody ringing the bell and banging on the door. And so, basically, it's Natalie. And so she goes out there, what you banging on my door for? And so Natalie is like, come on, girl, what the hell is wrong with you? Now, I can see me doing this. I can see me with one of my girlfriends that I've been ride or die with for years, okay? And now, all of a sudden, she done switched up because she got this man. And so, basically, Natalie is like, so now you going to get married in Vegas? You already got married, bitch. It's really what Natalie should have said, okay? Because she stood out there and caught herself in her lie when she stood out there and said, he's my husband. She said it twice. He's my husband. And she grabbed her hands like, oh, shit. But Natalie went on and still covered that ass, okay? And Natalie may not, you know what, she may not ever tell us or tell me or tell nobody else on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Periscope, or whatever social media platform that her ass is on. But I'm telling you right now, Natalie covered up for that ass because she sat there twice and said that Jay was my husband. Twice. And we have seen the pictures. The pictures have been all over Reddit of this big ass wedding that Natalie was in. So one of her little two girlfriends that ran back, freaking frat, then ran back and told Natalie what's going on. So they play both sides of the corner too. And I'm so curious about Ashley's past. I'm trying to tell y'all, y'all auntie gonna get down to the bottom of Ashley's past because they have tried to portray this girl as the innocent little white girl, and I don't know why they portraying her like this. So basically, Natalie was like, you giving up your whole life, all your life you run away from stuff. You never stand up to the challenges in your life. And so basically, she's like, you know, this is my life. I got neighbors next door. Don't be knocking on my door. Woo doo woo doo woo. And all this stuff, and you know, and so Natalie was like, look, I came knocking on your door like that, bitch, because you ain't been answering my phone calls. And she was like, you don't know when somebody's ignoring you, they don't pick up the phone and all of that. Natalie don't want to hear, Natalie want to have at it. And guess who peeked their head out through the door? Little bitch ass Jay gonna peek his head out through the door. And Natalie was like, come on now, we can't even have a conversation without this mofo getting involved. He's my husband. Okay, is he? Natalie said, y'all ain't married yet. Still covered her up. I'm trying to tell you, Natalie covering her up. Excuse me, y'all, even in her cry, Natalie is covering her up. And so basically, you know, she tells Natalie she don't want to be bothered with her, that the friendship is over. You know, get your ass up out of here, and I'm going in the house. So she goes up in the house and everything. And then Jay gonna sit up there and talk about he ain't the one that, you know, basically told her not to be he is not the one who told her to end the friendship with Natalie. Bitch, yes, you did. You was sitting up in the daggone bedroom having pillow talk with her, and you said that you wanted her gone, okay? Mofo, don't lie like that. You know damn well that that's what you said to her. You having all that pillow talk with her, you know daggone well that, you know, some stuff done went there. I wouldn't be surprised if you and Natalie and her was together, y'all three of y'all was together. It wouldn't shock your auntie, okay? I might sit here frozen like, you know, if I found out about it. But I'm trying to tell you one thing. If there's something that Natalie knows, and God damn it, we need to get down to the bottom of what Natalie knows. Because Ashley, everybody don't like Ashley. There is something up with Ashley. I don't give a flying freak what nobody say. There is something that is up with that ass. And I'm going to get down to the bottom of it. You better bet your last bottom dollar I'm going to get down to the bottom of what's going on with Ashley's lying ass. Now you sitting up there talking about you going to Vegas and you going to get married in Vegas. Bitch, you already married. What is it that TLC is trying to cover up? What skeletons are going to fall up out of a closet, okay? If anybody out here know Natalie, you let Natalie know I want to interview with her. Just like that. I would drop everything. Everything I'm doing and everything I'm chewing to interview with Natalie. Because I want to hear the other side of the story. That's one thing I don't like, is that I don't like being played by all these little spins and all these little articles and she's this and she's that and knick-knack, paddywhack. Don't nobody like her ass. Okay? And she's fretting and perpetrating a fraud, and then she gets to Vegas, and then he's talking about his whole life going away. Okay, if he really loved her, he would have never said anything like that to her, that he's losing his whole life. Y'all don't forget to hit that thumbs up button when y'all come up in here. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button when y'all coming up in this mofo. Cling, cling, cling to the thumbs up. So anyway, you know, basically they in Vegas, they, you know, they go down to the pool and everything, and he talks about, you know, that he's, you know, gonna get blacker and everything. He keeps talking about he's from Jamaica and how much sex Jamaican men have. Boo, look, it don't make a difference what your race, creed, nationality. It doesn't make a difference what it is. If you young, you want sex. It's just simple as that. And she's like, we have a lot of sex. I talked to all of my friends, and I've been comparing notes and everything, and I'm giving you the best that I can get. Is that not enough That all that is, honey, is a daggone doorway. That's a doorway and an opportunity for this mofo to make an excuse that you wasn't giving him enough sex, so he went on out and got sex on his own. I'm trying to tell you, this mofo is dropping bombs, boo, and you don't realize that he is dropping bombs? He's dropping bombs. He's letting you know, boo, that the sex that you giving him just might not be enough. Watch and mark my word, this mofo gonna cheat on her something terrible, okay? Because she thinks she all that. And like Natalie said, she always running away. We know she done already ran away from 2 relationships as it is. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, Auntie been around long enough, okay? I've been around the world and hi, okay? I know that something is going on with these. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna move off of them. And we're gonna talk about Colty and damn Larissa, okay? Larissa is... Colty is sitting downstairs. He's sick and tired of the sick and tired. He done got embarrassed. He felt alienated. And basically, you know, Larissa been fussing with his mom and his cousin and everybody else. And he's sick of that ass. But what really took it off for Colty was when Larissa took that ring off and threw that mofo across the room. He said, bitch, that hurt me. He said, that hurt my feelings. That was it for him. Not the fact that she acted an ass in front of his family and totally disrespected his mother, but that she took the ring and threw the ring across the room. It won't grow diamonds anyway, allegedly. So wasn't nothing gonna fall about of it, because you know them daggone crystals and them rhinestones and stuff like that, they stick up in that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Because they glued them in that bitch anyway. So basically, you know, he's sitting down there, he looking for airline tickets. Because he said if she don't want my flip-flop wearing ass, then you know what? I don't want her either. So I'm going to find her a one-way ticket on back to Brazil. Meanwhile, and in between time, we see her upstairs saying that you know what, she was mad. And she regrets being that way with Colty. And she's going to go downstairs with her little ring on her finger and she's going to apologize to Colty. So she gets downstairs and everything. And she's like, Colty, I'm sorry, Colty. I know I acted an ass, Colty. But you know what, Colty? What I want to do, Colty, is say I'm sorry. What you doing, Colty? Colty said looking for airline ticket. She said, what you mean you looking for airline ticket? He said, I'm looking for a one-way plane ticket for your ass to get back to Brazil. She said, no, Colty. No. She started going like this. No, Colty. Colty said, yeah. Yeah. You threw my ring across the room? You said you ain't like me? You said you wasn't happy? Yeah, I'm looking for a plane ticket for your ass to go by. She said, no, Colty. No, I was just playing. You know we play like that, Colty. I'm sorry, Colty. She said, let me see. Colty gave her that laptop. She saw it. She said, oh shit. This mofo's doing this behind my back. Y'all, excuse me for using that ass word. Clink, clink, clink. So I'll be using the ass word. Clink! Okay, so basically, that kettle one kicking. So basically, she sits there, right? She look up at that. She said, oh, Colty being mean. Colty is doing this behind my back. He's sneaking on me. Colty said, I ain't sneaking. You said you didn't want to be with me, okay? So basically, you know, she like, okay. Colty, I was just playing. Colty, I'm sorry. Colty, I love you. Colty, I want to be with you. He said, let me tell you something. You acting ass. You putting me, you know, on the outs with my family. First you fussing with my mother. Now you fussing with me. She said, Colty, I did that because I was mad. And there's some things about you I don't like. So Colty was like, what is it that you don't like about me? She said, I don't like how you always take your mother's side. And I don't like how you got them baby making hips. But I ain't said nothing about that, though. And so Colty is like, you know, well, you know what, some things that I can change. But when you know, when you up on the 10 and, you know, and everybody else on the 2, then, you know, I can't deal with you. And you throw the ring across the room. So she basically is like, you know what, Colty, I'm sorry. So Colty says, look, I love you. And she said she loved him. He said, I'm going to forgive you this time. But I'm telling you, you got to keep your anger under control. And if you don't, you're going home, Larissa. So Larissa promises the very next time we see Larissa, she's going out with Colty, okay? She said that she took 2 hours to get ready for Colty. Now, I'm looking at her and I'm saying that should have, what you had on and the makeup that you had on and your flat iron hair should have only taken you about 30 minutes at the most. Okay, maybe 40. But 2 hours, Larissa, what was you doing? Creating a whole new body? 2 hours and you stepped out looking like that? It takes nothing to jump into a jumpsuit, boo, because that's what you had on. It takes nothing to flat iron your hair, and it takes nothing to put that doll-ass Mary Kay makeup on. Stop playing. That stuff look like Wet and Wild stuff makeup out the dollar store, boo. That you got to shake up real good in order to get it to come out. Stop it with that stuff. It doesn't take anybody no damn 2 hours. So basically, she gets in the car and everything. Colty says, okay, we're going to go ahead and double date. She said, I tried to get myself extra special because I want to see if this mofo is going to compliment me. Why are you so insecure as a woman that you feel like you got to get complimented every 5 minutes? This man that you are dating is oblivious to your beauty, okay? He's oblivious to your hair. He's oblivious to makeup. You can tell by the kind of clothes that this mofo wear. He's not into fashion. He's not into looks. He's not into anything. All Colty is into is having that sex with the daggone Brazilian hot. That's what Colty wants. Colty want to be left alone. He want to come home in the evening. He want his mama to cook his food. He want his mama to drive you back and forth, and he want to lay with you at night. That's all Colty want out this relationship. He don't give a damn about your makeup. He doesn't care about your jewelry. He don't care about what you have on your back. Most men don't. All they worried about is what is in between them thighs. Come on now. Now, if you get a man that's going to compliment you and all of that kind of stuff, you got a bonus. But at the end of the day, you got to still train them, Larissa. So basically, she gets out there with him and a friend and everything. She's in the car. Colty ain't, he ain't complimented her. He trying to make light talk with the little friends and everything. They like, she a little different. She a little different. She a little on the wild side. We don't really know her like that. So, we trying to lay low right now. She a little spicy. They trying to be nice about the situation. And so basically they driving in cold making, little compliments and, little stuff. Y'all ready to eat. Y'all hungry and woody woody woo. And so she goes in on Colty, by way of saying, hey, how many times do you compliment your wife, And so Colty like, what you trying to say, Larissa? Damn, what are you trying to say? Colty, I took 2 hours and I was getting ready and I knew you wasn't going to compliment me. Well, who wants to walk on eggshells in a relationship like that? Nobody wants to walk on eggshells in a relationship like that. Nobody. And so she's sitting in there talking about, I knew you wasn't going to compliment me. I got new lipstick on, new Wet n Wild cheap lipstick, you know what I'm saying, that's going to melt. And I did my hair. I got this jumpsuit on, and Colty, you never complimented me. And Colty's like, yes, I did. Colty, no, you didn't. But it's okay. One thing about it is there's nothing wrong with you asking for what you need, Larissa. It's all in how you say it. And now here you out on Instagram, you blasting all these daggone women. Some of the women, you blasted them incorrectly. And some of the women, you blasted correctly. But what you don't do, Larissa, is put all your business out in the street and then you want to cuddle up. That's what Colty said. You get mad and you fly off the handle. And then when you think about it, you realize the error of your ways and you want to correct it. But you done already did the damage. And when Colty was trying to send that ass back, he should have sent her back. She is one of the biggest mistakes to me that he made in his life. He already, allegedly, he's told this young lady that he basically wants to be with her. He wants to, wait until the show is over so he can get rid of her and separate and all this kind of stuff. He's complimenting women. So it's not like Cole doesn't have eyes to see, okay? It doesn't it doesn't it doesn't mean that Colty isn't the kind of guy who compliments women, because all it looks like from all these alleged text messages and stuff like that she has been, dropping on Instagram, it looks like he's been complimenting all these women. He's been telling them how nice looking they are and how fine they are and how he wants to be with him. He's very complimentary. And so it's you. And so basically when they get out the car, instead of her realizing that this is not the appropriate conversation to have in front of his friends, she goes there. And the wife was like, I'm uncomfortable with this. Nobody wants to be around a couple when they fussing and carrying on. We out here for a damn double date. We're not out here to hear about your marital issues, and then you're going to try to ask us questions and draw us into this. Don't nobody care nothing about that. Nobody wants to hear that. And so basically, she's standing out there and telling Colt, you don't compliment me. You don't care about how I look. And Colt's like, that's not true. But what about Colt? What does Colt need? You're not even thinking about Colt. Everything is about you. Could it possibly be that you're the common denominator? You sit up there and accuse my mother of doing this, and I think mom and dad be doing some stuff. But I'm just saying, you sit up there and accuse my mother. You fly off the handle. And all of that kind of stuff. And to me, it's almost like it's in between, like he's making her feel like she's crazy. And she's not crazy. She knows what she's doing, but she just doesn't know how to communicate it correctly. So she's not going to get what she needs out of the relationship with Cole, because every time she says something to Cole, he got a rebuttal. He's one of them mofos that know every damn thing. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care if you right or what, he's going to make you feel like you crazy. You ever been with a man or a woman like that every time you say something, the mofo try to make you think you crazy? No, bitch, I'm not crazy. I know you didn't compliment me. Thank you for the super chat. So basically, he's like, look, maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one that has the problem, Larissa. And so, he's like, do you want to eat or you want to go back home? You want to argue what you want to do? She said, no, I want to go in and eat. And so they go to the same restaurant where he was flirting with the waitress. Okay, this was a setup. He says they decided that they wasn't going to do the reception there, but they're going to go ahead on and have dinner. And then here comes the same hostess, same waitress that was helping them the last time. And she going to tell this mofo, I want to see what this mofo do. I would have got up from that table. Colty was sitting there trying not to look. He was sitting there with his drink in his hand and everything. He was keeping his head straight like that. The girl asked him, what did he see off the menu? The mofo didn't even look at the menu. He said, just order whatever Larissa tell me to order. I don't see you. I don't hear you. I don't smell you. I don't taste you or nothing. I'm just drinking my drink. And I'm keeping my head straight. Who want to be with somebody that they got to be going through all of that? You so damn insecure and so needy that I got to be doing all of that? Colty, why did you marry her? Big, huge mistake. This mofo said he was scared to even pass gas in the bathroom. He held this. Come on. And she's going to sit there and still go through the process and then drag the little friends in and ask the little friends about the stuff. And the boy said, and the man said, you are a little crazy. You're a little crazy, Larissa. And she laughing. Colty, you handsome. Colty, you fine. Colty. And Colty, he want me to say he got a big old... He got a big old one. What do you got, Larissa? He got a big old one. Won't you tell us about it? I really feel bad for Colt and I feel bad for Larissa. I don't think that they are a match made in heaven. I believe that, they want what they want from one another. But this relationship is just not a good relationship in my opinion. I don't think that they need to be together. Okay, so the next couple we're going to be talking about, y'all, is Eric and Lita. Basically, Lita is the aftermath of Tasha being put out the house. Lita justifies why she put Tasha out the house. And she says Eric is on his way coming home. Okay? He's coming home early. She said she put her out because she was nasty, she was filthy, she was dirty, and she needed a place for Alessandro. She said she's been compromising on everything, and she's not going to compromise on this. And so we see her playing with her son, and we see Jenica just walking back and forth, looking like a robot, like something is wrong with her. Okay? So basically, we already see that there's signs. There's signs of trouble with this relationship with Lita. Okay, so basically, Eric comes home, look like he coming home from war. I don't know what kind of job he has that he has to have this military backpack, but mofo, let the backpack go, please. And so basically, he's coming in talking about some, my phone was blown up. And so basically, he comes into the house and he's like, what happened? And she's like, I put Tasha out. And he's like, well, why you put Tasha out? And she was like, because I know I wasn't supposed to go into the room, but I went into the room, I pushed the door open, and I was shocked and I was surprised. Eric wasn't. Eric knows his daughter. He has been living with his daughter all these years. He knows his daughter. He knows if she's nasty or not, just like Santa Claus. He knows whether or not her room is nasty or not. So for him to even play into this, so she goes on to manipulate him and tell him, well, I gave up my life for you. I gave up everything for you. And so I'm here, and and I gave up my medical career. I gave up my life in Indonesia. I'm homesick and I want to go back home. And and basically I need to feel like I'm a priority. And so Eric sits there and says that Tasha put him in this position that he had to choose. Your child didn't put you in no position to choose. Lita did. Lita is the one who is putting you in a position that you have to choose between her and your daughter. He says that one thing about Tasha is that Tasha is going to get mad with me, but she's not going to go to Indonesia. But Lita is, and Lita is who I want to live the rest of my life with, so there is no choice. The choice is Lita. I can fix this with Tasha later on. Now, I sat there last week, and I was like, you know what, Tasha, as long as you breathing and you got breath in your body, you have an opportunity to reconcile yourself with your father. But that was before I realized that she was a throwaway. She was someone he could throw away, and he says later on we can come back together and we can fix this. You have taken advantage of your relationship with your daughter like that. You don't care anymore about your daughter than that you're going to sit there and throw her away and make her a casualty of this cotton freaking war. What kind of moraine are you that you would leave your daughter behind? Who would leave their daughter behind and sacrifice their daughter for this patch? And she's sitting up there manipulating you and controlling you and got you on strings like a little puppet, and you throw your daughter away? He told me, so I don't want to lose her because she's going to go back to Indonesia. Let her go. If it means keeping a relationship with your daughter, let her go. And then he sits there with his father and tries to justify his behavior and try to justify his decision. And his father was looking at him like, fuck, are you crazy? Family is everything. You don't sacrifice your relationship with your daddy. Then he gonna sit there and cry and try to shed some tears and tell me, this is hard for him to do. Bitch, it didn't seem hard when you was on the other end of that phone. It wasn't hard for you to make a decision to throw your daughter away. That wasn't hard. So don't sit up there and try to garner our sympathy because you're not getting it from me. You don't sacrifice your daughter for this bitch from Indonesia, who basically last week in the car sat there and indicated that she didn't even want to be married to your ass and was resentful that she had to do it in order to give a better life to her son and Alessandro and herself. The family sat there, and the first daggone day they had an opportunity to sit down with you was like, hook her up. Hook her up with a clinic, hook her up with a doctor, hook her up with somebody you know. Until you do right by that girl, I'm trying to tell you, everything you touch gonna fail. Everything you touch, it clink, clink on everything you touch. It clink, clink, clink. And then we see her get up and kiss him. But let me tell you, she was worried. She sat there and told Eric, I ain't the problem, your daughter is. How you figure that? How you figure that? And this weak back man, who should be ashamed of himself, has a conversation with his father in the barber shop. Two cut on his head. Call himself being representing the United States as a military man. And this mofo sits up there in front of his father and says, Lita is grown, that Tasha is grown, she needed to get out anyway. And his father basically was trying to school him and tell him, you don't sacrifice your daughter for this woman. You don't do that. And when he sat there and told his father it wasn't no choice, I was going to pick Lita over Tasha. And the father looked at him like, skirt, what? He don't even care if they ain't coming to the wedding. It don't make a difference to him because guess what? According to Lita, she's not the problem. You are the problem. You are. And then we see Mama meeting her at the dock of the bay. And I was hoping that Mama was going to have to go Hooners to check her bitch hard. I was hoping that Mama was going to drag her all up and down the boardwalk, and she didn't. Mama said, if I got a problem, my kids got a problem, I got a problem. But still and yet she sat there and talked about her girls like a dog in her face. And told her, Mama, it ain't all of them, it's one. It's Tasha, I'm through with her. She would have been walking away with a nub and a bald head. She would have got a Marine cut #2. Because by the time I took that hair and wrapped it up around my hand and got the pounding up on that ass, she'd have known. Don't you ever in your life talk about my child again. Don't you ever put my child out of nothing and nowhere, bitch. I would have dragged her for days. It would have taken so many mofos to get me up off of her. But for Eric to sit there and cry and talk about how hard it is, but then sit and lead his face in his father's face and say, I did it with a flick of a thought. I didn't even think about it. Was no choice. Was no decision to be made. Automatically, I was riding for Lita. You sorry piece of... It hurt me so bad. I couldn't believe the hurt that I felt. And I wanted that mama to drag her. And maybe that's not her style. But sometimes you got to adapt your style for a situation. Mama, I thought was too weak with her. That's your baby. And when you got a problem with my child, you got a problem with me. Let's start at me. Pick on me. Talk about me. Bully me. Fuck with me. Not my child. You fuck with my child, you fucking with me. And it's about to go down. We wouldn't even had a conversation after the first sentence that came out of her mouth. You don't break my child down like that. And then you're going to sit up here with your self-righteous ass and talk about, I don't care if they don't come to the wedding. I ain't begging them to come. I'm the priority, me and Alexandro. And then Eric got the nerve to be talking about his new family. Bitch, what about your old family? But let me tell you something, Lita. You think you got the prize, boo. You ain't got the prize. And I know you here. I know you and Eric are here. But if he would throw away his own blood, his own flesh and blood, He will certainly, absolutely throw away yours. But don't you ever get it twisted. If this man can't treat his ex-wife and his daughters no better than that, he will never treat you any better. Here today, gone tomorrow, boo. You will be a casualty of some war. Because a man that don't take care of his children and take care of his family when he has the means to do so ain't about shit to me. It took everything I had not to cry through that episode. And then we start talking about Stephen. This mofo with his pompous, arrogant, privileged ass has the nerve to think that he has the capability of taking care of a newborn baby. You gonna snatch a baby from his mother? You sorry sack. So we watch Stephen. He's up in the morning. Hit that thumbs up button. Let me take me a drink. I got cough that. This mofo gets up in the morning. He's concerned about the paperwork. He wants to make sure that he has all the paperwork that he needs in order to make his baby a United States citizen. Let me tell you something. I'm not mad with Stephen. I had a conversation with my daughter and asked my daughter, why is it so bad in Russia? My daughter told me that if I had a child, mommy, my child would not be raised there. Simply because the life is different and there is a lot of poverty. Here, this girl is an orphan. She has a worse life than Stephen. She didn't have a mother or a father, okay? Or a family member due to other tragic things that have happened that Auntie will not be discussing on this channel. I think that it was absolutely unacceptable for that kind of information to be talked about that girl. That is her private life. That is tragic. And I will not be the person who will talk about that on this channel. It's not something you take lightly. But someone has a tragedy in their life that should have stayed buried. We knew that she was an orphan, but we didn't need to know all the gory details about what happened in that girl's life. And you will not have me talk about that. Now, I be on the borderline about stuff. But I will not do that. Will not do that. That is not something she chose to share, so it shouldn't have been shared. I think that we have to respect people. There's one thing telling things and spilling tea, but there's another thing when you talk about stuff like that. Where's the sensitivity? Where's the compassion for this girl's privacy? She's an orphan. And all this mofo can say is, I didn't have my daddy. Her life was worse than yours. And now you want to rip her child out of her arms. Hasn't she suffered enough, Stephen? You sit up there and you have sex, unprotected sex with a woman from Russia. And then you go over there and all you can do is worry about the paperwork. You're living from pillar to post. And I know you want a better life for your child. But there's a way to do everything. There's a way to do everything. And this isn't how you do it. Where's the compassion? Where's the love? He's so focused on wanting to be loved. But until you know love, until you've experienced love, you don't know how to really truly give it out. And that's why you can't even love Olga. You're resentful of the baby, the very baby you want to snatch from her breast. And so we see him reading a paperwork and saying, they said, does the baby have an SN number? Olga is saying, I want to come over there and be with you as a family. She too agrees that the baby will have a better chance being a United States citizen. But you can't take a suckling baby from a mother. So we see him telling her she don't even have a choice once the baby becomes an American. And the way that he looked at her and the smirk on his face was disgusting. She's like, what do you mean? He's like, once the baby become a United States citizen, you ain't got no more choices. And Olga is saying, I think he wants to take this baby from me. No, he wants to take the baby from you. But this is a baby by his own admission that he says he hasn't even spent time with, really. And that happens to a lot of parents who are breastfeeding. The mother, unless she's pumping and preparing bottles, the father doesn't have that connection with the baby in the very beginning of the months. And Olga doesn't even seem to appear to me relationship with the baby by a bottle so that in a pump so she can pump. And then you can bond with the baby in the way that you want to, Stephen. So basically the next day, they go and take a picture for the baby passport. And this is when he's dropping these little bombs about her not having, the opportunity to say anything once the baby becomes a U.S. citizen. She still has hopes that her visa is going to go through. Did the bitch even apply for it? And then he sits there and says that he has a secret. Wonder what that is. So they go to the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. He says, wait a minute, let me do one more checklist, because he's so zeroed in on making sure that that baby becomes a citizen so that he can take the baby from her. She goes over the paperwork. She's been very cooperative. Every time we see her, she's crying. And then so he leaves and says, I'll be back. And then what I forgot to say was he was laying in the bed with the baby and they were talking about the situation. And he tells Olga, go take a shower. I got this. And when she leaves off, he lays in the bed with the baby. He says, you know what today is? You're going to become a U.S. citizen today. Yes, that's probably better for the baby. But again, like I said, there's a way of doing everything. And so basically, he leaves her. They go, the embassy is across the street. She has to sit in the park. She's sitting in the park while this man takes her baby into an embassy that she can't go into because she's not a United States citizen. And for 3 hours, she sit not knowing what's going on with her baby. Oh. 3 hours, I'm sure, of torture. Did they take the baby? Is the baby going to get the passport? What about his future? What about mine? And he comes back and the baby is screaming. Screaming. How long had the baby been screaming? We even saw when they was trying to take passport pictures. He's not the best father. He doesn't know how to cuddle and be soft with the baby because he wants what he wants, because he feels like he's been so wronged in his past. But what about Olga? You didn't grow up in an orphanage. You ain't about that life. You lost your family because you decided you wanted to be a delinquent, allegedly. Was it because your family wasn't available? You chose your path. Olga didn't choose hers. And so he comes back and he has the baby in the stroller. She gets the baby because the baby is hollering. And he says, feed the baby, feed the baby. Well, how you going to feed the baby when you bring it back to the United States? What do you know about it? And then he sits there and says, I got the passport. He got his American passport. And so Olga's like, okay, what does that mean? He's like, he can stay here, but I think it's best if I take the baby from you. Olga said, I done had this baby in me for 9 months. My every waking breath has been to take care of this baby and to care for this baby, and this mofo gonna take my baby from me. And he has no compassion. None. None. He talks to her like she is nothing. All I want is my baby. I don't give a damn about you. I don't even really care if you come to the United States. You ain't got no choices, bitch. He's a citizen of the United States of America. And that's all that matters to me. He told her repeatedly, that's all that matters. While talking down to her. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe. But to see that woman sit there and cry at the very thought that he would take her baby broke my heart. He says that the United States is going to give him better opportunities. And it will Olga too. Where's your love and your compassion for Olga? See, you make your bed hard, but then you don't want to lay in it. You are the one that had a baby by a woman that lives in Russia. And you're saying that the baby would be better off with you. In what way? Yes, there may be opportunity, but the baby got to live and grow up in order to take advantage of those opportunities. What happens to the very care of the baby when you're living from pillar to post? How long will it take if you don't give family support before that baby finds itself possibly in the foster care system? Because of neglect. Not neglect because you didn't want to take care of the baby, but neglect because you didn't know how to properly take care of a baby. And you want to snatch it from the arms of the mother. I was disturbed. I was truly disturbed by what I saw on there. That this mofo would treat this woman like this. And Olga was so broken about the things that he's saying that she got up out the chair and rolled out. And this wasn't scripted. This was privilege at its best. It was privilege at its best. And yes, the United States is a great country. It is a land full of opportunity, hopes, and dreams. But what we don't have to do as Americans is take the privileged life that we live day by day and throw it and demean other people in other countries because of our opportunities. It is the love and the compassion and the camaraderie and the dreams and the hopes that make this country great. It's how we care for each other, what we do for one another, how we believe and support one another and our allies. And for Stephen, he is in partnership with this woman to raise this baby. So ain't no big you and little her when it comes down to the care of a child. You need each other. He sat there and he told her, I went without a father and I know how it affected me. But she went without a father, a mother, and a sister. And not one time has she thrown it in his face. Not one time has she thrown her tragedy in his face. Because she has learned how to live her life absent of what has happened to her. She is trying to make the best life she can for her and her baby and Stephen. And this is the thanks she gets. This episode for me, y'all, was deep. Filled with a lot of heartbreak from your auntie. I was heartbroken by Eric and Lita. And I was heartbroken by Kalani. And I was heartbroken by Stephen and Olga. Heartbroken. Again, tomorrow I will be having one of the hottest interviews tomorrow that I have ever done on this channel. You want to make sure that your notification bells are on. I will only be giving you a 30-minute notice about who I'm going to be interviewing because we are trying to keep it undercover. I also will be having another special guest that I will be interviewing on Thursday. You talking about dropping some hot tea? We're going to be dropping some hot-ass tea up here on this channel. Thank you all so much for being here. And the reason why I rated this episode a B, I really should have gave that mofo a C. But the reason why I gave it a B was just because it was just so grim to me to watch the things that happen. I'm hoping that you all come back out and watch me again. I'm not usually this grim, but this, you know what? This particular episode didn't need giggles and laughs and kikis. It didn't need it. This was tragic. And I'm hoping that Stephen changes his mind. I don't know if that baby is here in the United States, but I'm hoping that, you know what, her visa came through and that he was able to marry her. Because when he was in there advocating and fighting for that baby, he should have been fighting for Olga as well. I love you all to pieces, and I thank every last one of you all for being here. And I thank you all from thumbsing up that video. I really do. I appreciate everybody who takes the time to do that. And I know that some people say, who asks for thumbs up? I do. Because you know what? When you're here and you're getting something from somebody, you know what? The least you could do is say thank you. A thumbs up is a thank you. That's all it is. And so I appreciate each and every one of you all. I will not stop doing contents because I'm not getting thumbs up, okay? I'm gonna be doing that, but I just, you know, it's just YouTube etiquette. It's just courtesy, okay? I love you all so much, and I will see you all tomorrow with my special interview. Mwah. Love you to pieces.